Hi, my loves. Welcome back to the Starscartel channel. If you don't know, I am Star. The message I heard is there's a miracle daily, a miracle daily. The scripture comes from 2 Samuel 3 and I don't know, this is 2 Samuel 4. When Ish-bosheth, son of Saul, heard that Abner had died in Hebron, he ceased to resist. All Israel was alarmed. Ish-bosheth, son of Saul, had two company leaders named Bana and Rechab, sons of Rimmon the Beerothite of the tribe of Benjamin. The sons of Rimmon the Birthright, Rechab, Bana, came into the house of Ish-bosheth during the heat of the day while he was taking his siesta. The portress of the house had dozed off while sifting wheat and was asleep. So Rechab and his brother Bana slipped past and entered the house while Ish-bosheth was lying asleep in his bedroom. They struck and killed him and cut off his head. Then, taking the head, they traveled on a Rabbah road all night long. They brought the head of Ish-bosheth to David in Hebron and said to the king, "This is the head of Ish-bosheth, son of your enemy Saul, who sought your life. Thus has the Lord this day avenged my lord the king on Saul and his posterity." But David replied to Rechab and his brother Bana, sons of Rimmon the Bethrite, "As the Lord lives, who rescued me from all difficulty, in Ziklag I cease and put to death the man who informed me of Saul's death, thinking himself the bearer of good news for which I ought to give him a reward. How much more now, when wicked men have slain an innocent man in bed at home, must I hold you responsible for his death and destroy you from the earth?" So, at a command from David, the young men killed them and cut off their heads and feet, hanging them up near the pool in Hebron. But he took the head of Ish-bosheth and buried it in Abner's grave in Hebron. So here's the message, okay? For someone, you may be in fear, okay? So we already know, okay? But for some of y'all, if in case anybody does not know, there was once a moment in David's reign, before David's reign, in David's time, after he was anointed, that he was scared for his life because Saul was after him. And David knew that God already told him not to touch Saul. So David had to go into hiding. And as someone, as a warrior, it took a lot of humbleness. He had to humble himself before God and accept the fact that he was to go into hiding because he was not to touch Saul. Even though Saul was after him, he was not to touch Saul. Even though Saul had people after him, he was not to touch Saul. God told him he would handle it, and he did. So this is a message to someone that may feel like, regardless if you are feeling like there is someone that is after you, you're feeling as though this person is trying to attack you, this person wants to cause you harm. God says, do not touch that Saul. Don't send anybody after that Saul. Don't, in any shape, form, or fashion. And in this way, you will receive miracle after miracle after miracle. God said you will be receiving miracles daily. But if you step out of this line, okay, and it's kind of like, not even, it's kind of like, it's basically a situation where you are to remain loyal to God. It has nothing to do with being loyal to this person. It has to do with being loyal to God. If you are loyal to God, then you would understand that God is handling this case. God is handling this situation. Even if it is a situation where somebody is after you. And I feel like this is someone whoever this person that is after you, they are in this Saul position. They are in a position where they have sent people out. They have people that, regardless if they are trying to send people to fight you and to harm you, or if they are literally sending people to take you out, if they are sending people in an attempt to trap you into whatever scheme they have going on, if this is connected to the person with the message before about the ex, they got this big miraculous plan. God says, don't worry about them. He will handle them. Don't worry about them. He will handle them. You are not to send anybody to go and do anything to anybody, okay? If you do that, then how are you different from your enemy, okay? Whoever this enemy is, they are not operating out of God's will. They are operating out of their own will, out of their own might, and they are being manipulated by Satan. And God says, if you act out the way that they are, basically saying, like, for whoever this is, if you have goons, okay, in the field that you could call up real quick and tell them to pull up on them real quick, refrain from making that call. Don't do it. Refrain from making that call. Refrain from causing that trouble. Refrain from doing these things, because God says he will handle it. And God wants all the glory and all the praise for what he's about to do. God does not want anybody getting in the way of what he is doing. God does not want anybody affecting what he is trying to do in your life. And if you take out the time, effort, and energy in an attempt to try to take this person out. And I know it can be frustrating, because just thinking about what David went through for those years that he was on the run, for the time period he was on the run, it can be very frustrating knowing good and well he had several opportunities to take Saul out and he did not. And it's very frustrating. And just looking at it from David's standpoint, it's like he knows he can beat Saul. He know he got smoke for Saul. He know that he could do all these things, but he also knows that God says all the glory belongs to him. God says that he is the one that will be glorified in this instance. He is the one that will take care of the situation. He is the one that will handle Saul. And God wants you out of his way. And if you are making calls and you calling people to do this and you telling people to do that and you asking people to do all these things, how can you possibly allow God to work in your life? And that's the message. God says, if you would get out of his way, if you would not refrain from making that call, refrain from causing those problems, refrain from making that trouble, you will see the blessings of God upon your life daily. God says blessings every day. It's not just going to be a blessing this day and then that day maybe, and this day and that day maybe. God says you will see blessings every day, daily, as long as you are following what God asked you to do. This means that you are not doing little things to irritate this person. You are not being spiteful towards this person. David was not spiteful towards Saul. Even in this instance where they were being loyal to David by going out and taking out the person who said that they got the smoke for David, they took care of him. And they were coming to him in an attempt to get a reward. God says that he will not be rewarding that kind of behavior. He is not rewarding that kind of behavior. He is not rewarding anyone that is going to take it into their own might to handle something God said he will handle. God said he got this. And it's kind of like if you get it, it's like you're in a contest to see who guns are bigger. God said his arms are bigger, period. He the one that got the strong arms with the with the muscles. Like he's the one. And he said he don't need. He know that you may feel like you got hands for somebody, or you may feel like you heavy handed and your reflexes are just so on point. But God said don't do that. Stay out of it. God said he got this. This war is between God and whoever this Saul spirit is. God is doing this. God is handling this. And God says, as long as you are doing exactly as he is instructing you to do, you will see blessings daily, every single day. There is no way that your blessings will stop. I just feel like God is saying that this is for somebody. It will be an encore of blessings for you. Just simply by you following God's command. Just simply by you following God's command. Even if it is like it seems a bit strange to you. You know, like even if it was a situation like, let's say you're in David's position and the Saul decides that you need to be on the front lines. God said, go ahead and go to the front lines. He will make sure that you are safe the entire time. He will make sure that you are covered the entire time. And that person that has that Saul spirit is going to be shocked and appalled every time when you come back. Like it's kind of like you will not see a day when you are not okay. And I'm being reminded of the lore of Hercules and how Hera would constantly send Hercules out on these missions. And every time she was trying to get Hercules taken out of here, but he would come back more famous and stronger than he was before. And y'all ain't got to tell me in the comment section. I know that Hera is a fallen watcher and that Hercules is apparently, according to the Bible, Hercules, the spirit of Hercules, is stuck on this earth roaming around because he is not of God. He's an abomination. But anyways, I talked about that a little bit yesterday, okay? For those of y'all that don't know, that any of these lowercase gods are actually fallen angels or watchers that were sent here to watch over us, that decided to come to this earth and mess around with humans and have children and procreate with children. And they live their lives as if they were people, and God washed them away to the depths of the earth. Okay. And their children are spirit, their souls and their spirits are stuck here. Okay, anywho, getting past that. But it's that kind of situation. God is basically saying that there is no way that this person is going to be able to destroy you, because you have been anointed by God for this. You have been anointed by God for what you are doing, whatever path it is that you are on. And although this person is feeling as though they just got to do this and they just got to do that, they have all of these bright, brilliant plans. And God says every single time they come up with a brilliant plan, he himself will strike them down. He himself will knock out the plan. He himself will make sure the plan is destroyed. Okay. And they will not be able to overcome this. They will not be able to this is a battle that they will lose. God says you stay out of it, because he wants your hands clean in this. He wants your hands clean in this. Stay out of it. God is saying stay out of it. And it's not even just the fact of, like, not only does God want all the glory, you know, and that should be good enough of an excuse. But for somebody, you need a deeper excuse. If you get involved in this, you are going to look bad and you will take the fall. You will take the blame. It's like God is saying they will be able to shift the blame on you. Just like if David would have taken Saul out, there is a possibility that Israel would have turned on him. The people that were faithful to Saul may have been upset with David. But when you look at the way that David went about things, he got out of Saul's way. He let Saul go around and stomp around and do whatever he wanted to do. He put all these, and if you look at the way that it happened, Saul is the one, even just looking at the story, when we look at this story thousands of years later, it is obvious that Saul was messing with David. But if David would have went ahead and took Saul out the first opportunity he had, it could have been switched the other way. If David would have tried to take Saul out at that moment when I think his sword was laid down, or he was laying down, something like that, and David just came to him and said, I could have took you out right now, but I'm not gonna. And he walked off, okay? with his bad self, okay? And he just walked off like, that boy, okay? But God is saying that, you know, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Because God it's not even just about it's like it's about your image, but it's not about your image. Because God says what he said. He said he will deal with this. And then on top of that, God does not want you perceived a certain way. God does not, if you are perceived a certain way, you could interfere with what your destiny is. If you acts out a certain way, then when your destiny comes, when it's time for certain things to happen, you won't be able to do it. What am I saying? Okay, let's just say, like, for some of the time situations, the things that I have been through in my life, y'all don't even understand how hard it was for me to refrain from calling some people. Y'all don't even understand how hard it was for me to just not, like, and God said, no, I will deal with it. 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 No, stay out of it. I will deal with it. But in reality, the fact of the matter is, now I can sit here and I can tell y'all wholeheartedly, all seriously, with no, like, I don't have to omit anything from the story. I don't have to try to dance around what the truth is. I don't have to hide anything. I don't have to pretend nothing. I don't have to fake I'm not faking the funk for nobody. I'm being myself. And I just feel like God is saying that it hits different. Because a lot of times when people are doing you wrong and they're doing evil to you, they don't realize that there will one day come a time when people will be looking back on the story and seeing all the evil they did. And it's like they dance around and they laugh and they're so happy about all this evil that they're doing to you. And God says everything that is done in the dark will come to the light. And when it comes to the light, it is going to be shown and proven that this person was wrong for how they treated you. It is going to be shown and proven that this person is the one that was mistreating you this entire time. It will be shown and proven that this person has just been messing with you. And then it's like, it'll be a clear distinction between the two of you. And that's just like the saying that you never sit around and argue with somebody that is talking nonsense, because the people standing around looking at the two of you will not be able to tell you two apart. So if you are standing around and you're arguing and you're fighting with somebody, every time they do something to you, you do something to them. They do something to you, you do something to them. The people around, there may not have been anybody to see what they did to you. It's just like somebody, being picked on in class. You're sitting and you're minding your business. This happened to me before too. And I'm in a tutoring class, some kind of after school program. And this little boy that likes me kept messing with me. And he kept taking we had this thing where we would make the little rubber band slingshots, and he folded up the piece of paper and would hit me with it and hit me with it. And he kept on trying to hit me with the thing. And he was hitting me in my arms and my legs. And finally, the rubber band came with a slingshot, and I took it. And I folded up a piece of paper, and I did like this, and I slung it, and it hit him right in the middle of his right between his eyes. And the teacher got mad at me. And I was like, you've been missing him the whole time. He been messing with me the whole time. The whole time. Constantly shooting a little slingshot at me. Messing with me. But when I hit him in such a way that nobody missed it. Everybody saw it. The whole class fell out laughing because he was so mad. He couldn't believe that a girl could figure out how to use a slingshot. Okay, his little makeshift slingshot. I forgot about that one. Anywho. God said that you keep your hands clean and you stay out of it. He will deal with it. Okay. He will deal with it. He sees them. He sees them. He sees them. You don't have to raise your hand and make sure he saw it. And that's the message, y'all. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe.